Hello, true duelists. My name is Craig Fee, and welcome to the New Card Report, a series I may or may not be discontinuing based on how liberal Konami is with the ban hammer. Gotta love it. Yes, welcome to another New Card Report, one that is visually identical to last week's update. There is nothing new going on here. We've got a small batch of cards from the new Animation Chronicle 2023, including Konami teasing fans of the armor cards from the Orichalcos arc from the anime. I'm talking like 2004, whenever that shit aired. I mean, we're going nostalgia throwback with these ones, I tell you what, folks. As well as some new support for the upcoming Red Dragon Archfiend Structure Deck, or as it will be known in the TCG, Structure Deck, featuring Jack Atlas. Marketing. So let's start with the new Red Dragon Archfiend cards. Vision Resonator is a new level 2 Dark Fiend tuner that can summon itself from your hand if there's a level 5 or higher dark monster on the field, be it your field or the opponent's. Very nice. And better yet, if it's sent to the graveyard, it can search for any spell or trap that mentions Red Dragon Archfiend specifically from your deck to your hand. Nice! Red Dragon Archfiend now has a way to search Scarlet Security, the in-theme Feather Duster. Does that make it playable? Yeah, kinda. But certainly more than it was in the last, 10 years of its existence. It's a side deck card, really, but it's searchable, and that's what matters. They can also search for Red Dragon Vase, or Vase, however you choose to say it, which is one of the worst draw 2 spell cards in the game. Even better. But of course, there's a new target for it to be searched instead, and that's what we're going to move on to next, the next bit of support from this structure deck. Red Zone is a continuous trap that lets you target and pop one card on the field when your opponent activates a card or effect, just so long as you control either Red Dragon Archfiend or a synchro monster that mentions it specifically. Nice. It's not great, but it's not terrible. Where it gets cheeky is that it can also summon a banished Dark Dragon synchro monster once per turn. Can you guess what effect that is meant to pair well with? I'll give you a bit of a hint. It's on the card art, just in Nazca line style fashion. It's Red Supernova Dragon. Yeah, now you can banish your opponent's entire field twice per turn, because Supernova's effect is a soft once per turn. So why would it need a hard once per turn? It banishes itself. It's not too shabby, all on top of having an extra little bonus pop. All in all, it's some solid support for the deck. The trap's probably worth playing as a one-of, because it's searchable with our new Resonator friend. I almost said Synchron, but it's not, it's a Resonator, which is two beautiful little pairings together. There's synergy. Imagine, it's like it was designed to function in a structured deck. Oh, what more need be said? It's pretty decent. Now, if they can just give us a solid non-tuner to be searching with all of our very good Resonator friends, I'd be ecstatic. And of course, another dragon. There's like 3 new cards left coming from it. I'd take 2 new dragons myself, but one more, please. Oh, and I guess also I can mention at this moment that there's also this bonus card, which depicts Jack Atlas kidnapping a child, while onlookers cheer him on from what I can only assume is another day in the dystopian satellite city from the anime. The card, you'll notice, has no level or attribute, and if you can read that, it says it's the human type. Now, if you can read all the text underneath it, I've gotten written here, a whole little splurb here. Don't worry about that. In the TCG, it'll probably be like some Cockney accent that Jack did in the anime, being like, synchro what? Get it? Get the abridged series. Oh, man. And so, yeah, that exists too, but I don't care, so moving on. Also, coming straight out of the OCG, a card that will be debuting in some manga to accompany the story of the canonically 13-year-old Rei. That's right, we got some Sktiker support. A new Link 2. Their first Link 2 was acceptable, but otherwise unremarkable. Let's see if this new one can be any different. Skystriker Ace Camellia is a Link 2 Dark with 1500 attack and arrows pointing top right and bottom left. Or maybe that looks like this when it's done. Either way, this is my right, so haha. Its link materials are any 2 effect monsters, and that's pretty decent. It must first be link summoned, and you can only special summon it once per turn. Also once per turn, if you have 3 or less spells in your grave, you can send any Sktiker card from your deck to the graveyard. And its other effect is that if it is sent to the graveyard, it can target an opponent's monster, special summon itself to the opponent's field, and then send that targeted monster to the graveyard. And at the end phase of this turn, it will swap control back to you. It's not bad. You know what? That's a lot better than I expected, considering the last like 8-card Sktiker 8-card Sktiker god have been absolute dog shit, just unplayable trash. And that's not even me being like hyperbolic. Most of them really just sucked. This is, if at nothing else, playable. And I've even heard some amount of talk that this could be used as a generic card of sorts to incorporate Sktiker engines. I don't know if I'd go that far. It's decent, it's solid. It can't put Engage in the graveyard and then become Kagari to get back said Engage, but is Sktiker still unbelievably strong in 2023 and moving forward whenever we get this? I don't know, especially while Engage is still limited. Just saying. I don't think this is a bad card by any stretch. Matter of fact, I think it's a pretty damn good one for the deck. I just don't think that this is going to bring the deck back into the competitive scene. Overall, I guess you could say that it is acceptable, but otherwise unremarkable. Get it? It's a bookend. A callback to the please subscribe. And then there's 4 one-offs from the Animation Chronicle 2023, going over multiple animes, some of which I've even seen. Amazing, I know. So of course, let's get started with the dual monster support, because it's obligatory. Eye of Illusion is a quick play spell that's got the Egyptian eye from all the Millennium items, but it's actually generic illusion monster support and spellcaster support, but I'm going to focus on illusion because it's more relevant and topical to me. If you control an illusion or spellcaster monster, you can activate one of 3 effects. Either your illusion and spellcaster monsters will be indestructible by battle, an effect that is entirely irrelevant for illusion types as of now, but hey, time theft is a legal way to win duels, so it's entirely up to you how you want to use it. The other 2 effects are that when an opponent's monster attacks, you can target another monster they control other than the one that's attacking, and then have their monster attack that targeted monster and perform damage calculation from there. It's kind of like that magical arm trap card, but in a quick play spell. And of course, the third effect that is second on the card, but I'm mentioning it last because it's the best. You can take control of one monster the opponent controls until the end phase, but only on their turn. So yeah, spellcasters and illusions have a generic snatch deal on the opponent's turn. Obviously, that's much better if it was doable on your turn, but let's not pretend that stealing an opponent's monster doesn't make for some fantastic disruption by itself. Stealing an opponent's tuner before they can make a meaningful synchro play, or taking an access code before they can attack with it, or, you know, after it's targeted and gained its effect, after that first effect's resolved, yoink it so they can't do anything with it. You yoink, I sploink, that's what the MBT fans say probably. And even more that I don't feel like going over. There are definite ways to play this card. Shoutouts IP Masquerena, okay? It's utterly absurd to give a new type, if you ask me, just a generic snatch steal for every archetype that uses this type moving forward. But let's not forget that it includes spellcasters because they had to include Dark Magician in this somehow. It's Konami and DM support. Tell me I'm wrong. On to GX, Arcana Force. That deck got new support with 15, I believe. I think I still know how to read Roman numerals. The Fiend, or the Devil, according to the YG organization, but it's not going to be that in the TCG, so it's the Fiend. This fairy-type monster is a level 7 with 2500 attack and defense, and can be discarded to add the Light Barrier field spell card from your deck or graveyard to your hand, which is nothing short of great for this deck. It lets them be playable in any sense, and that's not being exaggerative at all. They really need that field spell. And of course, it has the obligatory Arcana coin flip effect, which decides whether or not it's good or it's bad. So if it's heads, when an attack is declared involving this card, you can target and pop one monster on the field and inflict 500 damage to the controller of said popped card. Or if you get tails, or no head.
So no head?
No head. So if you get tails, when an attack is declared involving this card, you can destroy all monsters on the field, which does include itself. This card is unique for Arcana Force because neither of its effects are actually terrible. The heads and the tails are both playable effects. Now, some may feel that that is a step in the correct direction for the archetype, while others feel that it goes against the tarot card theming of the archetype that it is based on. Sometimes the tarot cards don't tell you what you want to hear, they tell you what you don't want to hear. Whether or not you are in the camp of game functionality or of the cards, staying true to the lore and the lore behind them, is whether or not that's important is entirely up to you. And ultimately, it just comes down onto how much of a tool do you want to be on social media when talking about these new cards. But regardless, it's one of the best Arcana Force monsters, if not the best one to date, so I don't want to hear any complaining. I never watched whatever anime this next card is from, but I do know exactly what deck is going to be playing it. Phoenix Gearblade is a new equip spell that can be equipped only to a Fire Warrior monster, and will give them 300 attack, so Salamangreat stays winning. The other effect is that if the equipped monster attacked, at the end of the damage step, you can send this card to your graveyard, and then all your Fire Warrior monsters can make a second attack in this battle phase. I take it back, Salamangreat stays losing. Talk about a quick OTK option for Battling Boxers and Infernoble Knights. And that's not even getting to the effect that I'm thinking about when I say I know what deck is going to play this, because the last effect is that if it is sent to the graveyard or banished to activate a monster effect, you can add it to your hand. So it's like a second Phoenix Blade in name and function, so to say. One more card to be able to discard and use it in free fodder warrior piles and all that fun degenerate stuff. And I've already said where it belongs, in Infernoble and Battling Boxer. Because you know what else might really like this? Immortal Phoenix Gearfried. Banish and recover to have it equipped in the negate. It's a solid one, methinks. Get it? Noble Knights? Methinks? I need immediate psychiatric help. And last up, the clickbait. And I'm not talking about the Konami clickbaited this, not me. They're the ones who printed this shit. Why are you tickling the balls of the community, Konami, huh? Why are you tickling the balls? Oh, I need to sleep, if it isn't apparent. Armor Xyz is the new normal spell that targets a face-up monster you control and an Xyz monster in your graveyard, and will then equip the Xyz monster to your monster as an equip spell with the following effects. The equipped monster's attack becomes the Xyz's attack, its attribute will become the same as the Xyz, and if it attacks at the end of the damage step, you can send the Xyz monster to the grave to let it make a second attack in a row. So in short, it sucks in 99.999% of duels, but it shows the damn armor cards from the Orichalcos arc. That series of monsters people have been wanting for years. And we already got the new not quite Earthbound Immortal, but still Earthbound support from Animation Chronicle, the same set this is coming out in. So just blatant disrespect, I guess. How else do you want to put it? It's probably not coming because the entire armor thing was just a gimmick to make Buddy punch Joey or whatever, and is much more difficult to make into a decent actual game mechanic, but doesn't matter because people want him. You showed him, Konami, now people want him. And this is as close as we've gotten in the last 20 years or so, maybe in the next 5 years. Copium. And that's it. So shoutouts to today's sponsor, of course, the LIFD Magnetic Display. The best way to support the channel currently, and the true duelist approved way to show off your favorite cards, be it real ones or promotional ones of an anime character abducting children. Can't convince me otherwise. Whatever it is you want to display, you do you. And you can do you with 15% off by using my promo code or by clicking the link in the description. Thanks to LIFD for the support as always, and thank you for watching. And so that wraps it up for this new card report. Just covering the new cards in this one. The regular update will be out on Friday as usual. But until then, I've been your host, Craig Fee. Same as I was last Friday. And make sure you subscribe to Yugioh Strats for this week's update to impress your smokin' Italian wife, and so you too can be a true duelist.